I think without exception, Singapore is one of the great food nations of the world. Australia's not too bad either, but Singapore is absolutely damn wonderful. And this is a dish that I had the last time I was in Singapore, which is just a mince dish, which they serve on rice. But my mother, who was a great one at serving mince and breakfast on toast, would most certainly like this on toast. I'm not saying you do it on toast, but it's a thought, isn't it? Now, first of all, we are actually pumping up the mince. I've got 500 grams of minced beef there. You could use minced pork too, or instead. But to that, I'm going to add a few flavours, and then I'm going to put it in the fridge for half an hour, just to help the flavours. So, 2 or 3 cloves of garlic, a knob of ginger. I really did enjoy this dish, and what I love about it is mince is still reasonably priced. It's not cheap, but it's reasonably priced. To that we then add 1 scant tablespoon, and when I say scant, of corn flour, about 3 tablespoons of Chinese wine, 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce, and 1 tablespoon of soy. Looking good, and then we just mix that all up, and as I said, we put it in the fridge for half an hour, and then we come back and add a few other things. So mix it in well to get all those flavours through. Alright, looking good, guys. You don't need to cover it or anything, just, as I said, shove it into your fridge half an hour, and then we'll come back. Alright, so we're looking good. Our mince has been in there for half an hour. I suppose you'd call it marinated, wouldn't you? A little bit of veggie oil in a wok, or a deep pan, whichever you like. And I've got some veggies here, you can see. I've got some carrot, which I've grated. I've got some wonga-bok, which is the Chinese conical cabbage, which I have just cut into rough slices. About half an onion, which I've done in wedges, and also a red capsicum, about a quarter, which I've also sliced. And we will just throw those in and just get the cooking process started before we add the mince. So just break up those onions. Don't cook it too much. The whole idea is to add the mince when it's still reasonably crisp. Alright, the mince can go in now. And we'll just mash that up a bit so that it mixes in. We won't worry about it too much, and I'll tell you why, is because I'm going to put some liquid in, and we can then mash it up when the liquid's in. Is that logical? Of course it is. We'll just mash it a bit. About a quarter of a cup of chicken stock. You can always add more if you need to. The smallest splash of sesame oil. People add huge amounts of sesame oil. It takes over. We know that. So we don't want that. Good tablespoon or so of oyster sauce. Some ketchup mayonnaise, which is the sweet soy. About 2 tablespoons of that. Some Chinese wine, once again 2 tablespoons of that. Once again a very small amount of Chinese black vinegar. I love this Chinese black vinegar, it's one of my favourite. And we can also add some more at the end. And then we're going to cook that for about 20 to 30 minutes, mashing that mince and mixing it in all the while. Now you may have noticed that I haven't added any seasoning, and that's because of all these different sauces. I most probably don't need it, but we will taste just in case it needs a bit of salt or even a bit of pepper. Shouldn't need either, to be honest. Doesn't need any seasoning, that's great. Either serve it on rice or even on toast. I think the toast is a bit of a Kiwi thing, but anyway, it'd be nice on toast actually for breakfast. People are going to write into me and say, you have to be kidding, Huey. You're going completely mad on toast for breakfast. Oh, I can't help myself. So, into a nice bowl, as I said, serve some rice alongside. You could serve some very simple green veggies with it if you liked. And when I say simple, no chilli, no garlic, no anything, just sauteed maybe in the smallest amount of oil. Alright, smells absolutely delicious. Plenty of spring onions on top, or green onions as they call them in different parts of Australia. Now to serve with that, once again a bit of a difficult choice. But Mr. Prentice has come up with a ripper. He reckons a rosé from Provence, which is a drier rosé, not too acidic, would go perfectly with this. So we have, now what is it? The St. Louis Provence rosé. I reckon that'll be a ripper with that lovely Singaporean mince. Now the other thing about Singapore, may I also add, there's a few Australians doing some really good things there. There's a guy at a restaurant called Burnt Ends, which has got a Michelin star, and that is a ripper, but also Tetsuya's there. So Australia's got a bit of a presence there, but apart from that, bloody good food. Guys, to show your support for my channel and to keep in the loop, subscribe. It's easy to do, and don't forget, it's free. Okay, cheers.